GM, everybody. Happy Thursday. All right, we got Pratoshi in the chat already. I didn't know about Rainmaker until the migration post. These guys look dope. Yeah, Pratoshi is one of our active migrate.fun speculators and investors, people who love to see projects migrating because they are bullish without a doubt. Excited for this conversation with Rainmaker, who announced yesterday that they'll be migrating to Pump, which actually we haven't even formally introduced yet, but people are starting to get the message as speculation is introduced. Adam, how are we feeling today?
Feeling great, man. Yeah, the migrations to Pump are going to be epic. We got some amazing teams already announced. We got a couple who haven't announced yet who we're super excited for as well. Some really, really big projects. Yeah, it's just gonna, this movement around. We knew it once we did it. This will continue, and right now, interest is on Pump and what they got going on over there. Obviously, Alon has tons of motion on the timeline, so very exciting for these teams. Migrations have been very, very bullish for the teams who've taken part, and so excited to see what we get to here. Just to let everybody know. This is going to be, we're going to have a little bit of a conversation, I think, here first. But if anybody wants to come on stage, ask questions about migrations, give us your biggest FUD. Happy to meet all of it and be completely transparent about what migrations are and how they work and stuff like that. So happy to dig into all the details.
Absolutely. Big, small, hard, not. We are here for all of the questions to be answered. Chris, how are we feeling this morning?
Yo, feeling good, man. I think that people are starting to understand that, there's a zillion reasons to migrate and, just check one of the boxes and pack your bags and get ready to go. So I think this upcoming group going to Pump is going to be a lot of fun. And, some ecosystems are struggling, and we're just happy to provide assistance to get teams, in a better position than they are currently. So excited to make that happen.
Yes, sir. We'll get on with the conversations. We got Rainmaker on stage. We got Ghost just left the stage. We got J-Rock, bunch of people on stage. We've pinned up to the top of the spaces. If everyone just wants to give that a lovely retweet and a like and maybe a reply so that the algo can boost the attention to Rainmaker. We also do a live stream, so that's why we're talking through my account. A lot of people like to visualize what's going on. We have about 100 people in and out of the video stream as well. And then we pinned up to the top the announcement from the Rainmaker team about the migration. Please give that a big boost, a big retweet, a big like, and everything, and show them some love. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce the Rainmaker team. We got J-Rock here on stage. How are we doing today?
Hey, Jake. How's it going? We're doing great.
Yeah, exciting day to say the least. Who's behind the Rainmaker account?
Hey, it's Rainy from Rainmaker. How's everyone doing?
Rainy Dev is here today. Let me give like a little bit of an introduction about kind of what Migrate Fun is. And again, anyone in the crowd, whether you're listening to this live or you're watching this later, and you have a question, feel free to just bombard us or the Rainmaker team about some questions, but more specifically to us. and we can get all of those answered. Migrate.fun is the industry's first, and I generally don't say that pretty lightly, migration platform. Migrations are something that's been ongoing in crypto literally since the beginning. Our company, Emblem Vault, parent company, actually migrated its token back in 2016 when it was founded. It was migrated from a layer 1 blockchain called Ribbit Rewards. This is before Ethereum actually existed, when everything was a layer 1 blockchain, and migrated over to Koval on Counterparty, which was Bitcoin's second ever application built on top of it. But that's a history. So migrations have been around for quite a long time. But what we had realized in July was that there was all this locked liquidity that we needed to move. And so we built this migration tool for our own migration. The token at the time was called Tensorium. It's an AI project. We ended up migrating it to a token called Hustle, which is now the Migrate Fund platform token, as well as our AI project, Agent Hustle. Once we underwent our Hustle migration, we were reached out to by, at this point, literally hundreds of teams who are interested in migrating their liquidity to an ecosystem and environment that best suits their needs. As of today, since platform launch on July 1st, Migrate Fund has completed 15 migrations and migrated over 5 million in liquidity. Those were to PumpFun and Radium ecosystems. There's actually 5 migrations ongoing right now. You could go see them at migrate.fun. And at the end of this month, we'll be beginning the first venture of migrations to PumpFun, a hotly requested place to go to, especially within the last month or so, as we see that Pump is putting a big focus on ICM. So really excited to undergo this message or undergo these migrations itself. J-Rock, I'd love if you can give us a little bit of a background of Rainmaker, or maybe Rainy Dev, either or, of what Rainmaker is, and just some of the history of where you got, of both of you in the industry.
I'll let Rainy kick it off and then I can follow up.
All right.
Short and sweet. Rainmaker makes the most powerful AI agents for prediction markets, specifically for sports. Recently, we had a breakthrough with one of our AI models, which turned $400 into $6,000 in one trade, which is unheard of for sports prediction markets. Like, it's what we're used to with meme coins, but we're bringing the P&L that's only been possible with meme coins all the way over to sports prediction markets and PMs, which is super powerful. That's what we do. AI agents for sports prediction markets. You don't have to lift a finger. The agent does everything for you. It scopes out the right games and the NFL, college football, and it just snipes them for you and returns profit. Users don't do a thing. That's it.
We love our sports. Chris and I live out here in Las Vegas, so very familiar with the sports betting world. Yeah, really, really good time. Do you guys have previous experience in sports, or was it AI, or just the rise in prediction markets that led you to where you are today?
If our lawyers listening in, Matt, he was actually Kobe Bryant's best friend. Rest in peace, legend. And his general counsel, and now he's our general counsel, and he's been giving us amazing guidance the whole way. But yeah, I'm a sports person. I played football since I was 6 years old. Tennis, I was ranked in tennis tournaments with USTA. Soccer was pretty good at that. Baseball, I wasn't so good at. Basketball, pretty good. So yeah, I'm just a sports person. Our background as a company is not in sports, but actually it just kind of all the right things converged at the right moment and led us to this beautiful amalgamation of sports meets prediction markets meets custom AI models. So actually my background is in forming unique AI models for music. Then we pivoted to meme coins like maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And then now we've pivoted again over the last few months to just realizing, why are we not at the bleeding edge of these new financial information markets called prediction markets. And why aren't we stepping up and applying custom AI models where no one else seems to be? There's definitely institutions that are doing it in an invisible way, but there's no consumer front facing people that are, training their own models um, every single week. I think I've trained like maybe 4 or 5 models in the last week myself, and applying them to sports prediction markets to guess the outcomes better, um, not by predicting beforehand, but by um, kind of watching the game with you and waiting until events happen in the game, ingesting that data, and making way more intelligent predictions during play.
Mhm.
And I think that's just how sports mind would think, right? So yeah, all the right things have converged at the right time to lead us here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have here pulled up on the live stream your guys' token chart of Rain. It looks like you guys had launched in May on Meteora within the Believe ecosystem, and have had quite a run, especially since September, where you guys have rose to under 1 mil up to 5 million, where you are today. Take us through the history of launching in your ecosystem. How does the token impact Rainmaker and the prediction markets with AI, and then we'll get into kind of migrations and such afterwards.
Yeah, sure. So right now we are token gating access to our models. We're working actively to figure out the best way to um, return these holders benefit first. Right now, you need 3 million Rain to access the Ultra model and any of the other models that we use, quite frankly. But pretty soon, we'll be rolling out some other kinds of models. One model I'm very, very excited about is an insurance-based model to where 90% chance that you won't lose your bet, even if your AI agent loses, which is super powerful. And I think it actually flips the script with um, people betting on prediction markets. And it's kind of an interesting thing. What we're doing is like, you don't have to just bet on the prediction market with us. You're betting on your AI, and if your AI will succeed. So introducing an insurance protocol will definitely help change the game and flip the script and help people feel more comfortable with our AI agents. So right now we're just building the best models we can, token gating them with Rain, and with this migration, we're hoping to increase our exposure through the Pump ecosystem and shed new light with other players in the crypto space on how powerful our AI agents can be, and hopefully returning much more value to those people. If they want to buy 3 million Rain, we'll return value in the form of our AI making profitable investments in prediction markets.
I'm interested to hear this is Adam, by the way, speaking through Jake's mic. I'm interested to hear, like, we've had and are friends with like Billy Betts, who's done something similar, although theirs is just kind of one model trying to predict kind of all stuff. But they've even said like they had terrible results on certain sports and then like really good results on other sorts, which were like surprising. I think it was like golf was like their best sport or something like that. Some crazy like outliers. Have you seen that sort of thing as well? Like the models do better in very specific like niches, or what's been your experience?
Yeah. So we've only rolled out football. Like I've played it since I was like 5. I really, or 6. I really understand the game and like all the football IQ is high. So when we train these models, a sport I'm not as good at, like basketball, might perform not as well. But we really only saw those kinds of the juxtaposition and results um, quite early in the process. Being that we're making a custom model for each, it's kind of like a little bit different. We'll start off with custom models, and then we'll see if one is underperforming. We won't release it. We'll try it out. But we're able to actually like fine tune just for the sport of basketball. and we're able to fine tune just for professional basketball versus college basketball because the pace is different. Same for college football. But yeah, we've had similar results, but our power is like being able to custom train models per team, sometimes per sport, per league, and that's helped us a lot.
Well, I see you guys definitely have some flow and interest. Le'Veon Bell was tweeting about Rainmaker and that he was on a stream with your team. Le'Veon Bell, former Pro Bowler, I also played football for a long time as well. So familiar with the sport. Really cool to see him on stream with you guys, and as well as supporting the project. Is this something that is going to be common within Rainmaker, is bringing on sports stars, particularly football, because you guys are just football right now, and just talking with them? Or is there some other involvement that they are using within Rainmaker?
Actually, the stream hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
It's coming up on Monday Night Football next week. So
Nice.
that's an exciting milestone that we'll have an actual ex-professional football player testing it in real time and just seeing what the results are. So we and our community look forward to that. But yeah, that's the plan, is to, from the beginning, Rainey had mentioned a strategy of wanting to use streamers to onboard retail. So we're excited to go to a variety of different streamers and in different industries, and just have them all speak to their audiences, test it in real time, and show the proof of the results. So
yeah, that is quite incredible. And also, you guys will be migrating to Pump, where they host streams, and also it'll be connected to Token. So is that part of the reason of wanting to move over to Pump, is the creator features and the creator rewards and how it intertwines with your guys' marketing strategy?
yeah, that definitely played a huge part in our decision. Just the fact that they're focused on that strategy aligns so much with what we want to do with marketing and just the demographic that we want to appeal to. And we just haven't seen any other launch pad be creative in that way. And, as you know, like Pump is like one of the biggest launch pads on Solana, but it's also trying to, find a way to reach the TikTokers and other people that may not be into crypto. So that was just one of the main reasons to go there.
Yeah, it's quite exciting, to say the least. And we're excited too to help everyone move over to Pump. I could dive into some of the specifics surrounding migrations. I could kind of start from the top, but either Rainy, Dev, or J Rock, are there any specific questions from your community that you would like us to cover off from the top?
It would be great if you can just kind of walk us through the typical process, and then maybe talk about timelines.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, you wanna walk through the process?
Sure, absolutely. From a team perspective, it's a relatively simple process. I'd say like the hardest thing for a team is actually broadcasting and socially engineering this and getting your community on board. That's actually the most difficult thing for the team. From a team perspective, though, it's relatively simple. It's you get on to our platform and you actually start the migration. You go onto the into our backend protocol and you log in with your wallet and you basically put in information about what's the token's new name, image, that sort of stuff. And it's like a 5-minute process. We're on the call with you. We walk you through. And then you basically set a date to start the migration and set a date to end the migration. And then you initiate the process. It's like 5 clicks of the mouse. So it's pretty simple. Like technically, from the team's perspective, it's literally 5 minutes of work. The hard part is getting the community on board, and that's why we're doing spaces like this. It's actually convincing people why this migration should take place, right? And teams have all sorts of reasons why this needs to happen. Anything from creator rewards, added attention of migrations, being on Pump, you're going to get a lot of attention. There are tons of different reasons. But from a timing perspective, the announcement of when you decide, okay, we're actually going to do this, we're actually going to migrate to Pump, making that announcement at least a couple weeks before the actual migration takes process. That's kind of where we are right now. You guys have kind of announced it. We're talking about it. We expect this first group of migrations to Pump to happen basically at the end of this month. So what do we have, like 3 weeks left in the month? So in about 3 weeks, the migrations will start. And then you guys will decide how long you want the migration to take place. So that migration window where people can actually send in their tokens into the Migrate Fund protocol ranges anywhere from a week. We've had a lot of teams do a week successfully to 2 weeks. And you could do longer. You could do a month. I don't think it's necessary to do longer than 2 weeks. 2 weeks is like pretty long in migrations, because what you'll find, and if you look at kind of the 15 we've already done, almost all migrations happen in the first 24 hours. Literally, we had a team this cohort do like 60% in the first 24 hours, right? And then the last 24 hours. So you'll get the rush at the very end. And then the migration's over. It ends. And just so everybody understands, like at the end of that migration, the team comes in and all those tokens that have been migrated are sold into the old liquidity pool. And once they're sold into the old liquidity pool, you get this giant red candle, and all of that SOL is used to fund the new liquidity pool. And for Pump, it's a bit more complicated than our previous migrations. But in Pump, we're basically buying the entire bonding curve plus a whole bunch of tokens on top in basically one transaction to try to prevent snipers. And then you open the claim window, and everybody who migrated then comes and claims their token one for one. And anybody who didn't migrate and is just woken up by that giant red candle and missed all the announcement that the teams made and all the stuff in the telegrams, and everybody knew about it except some people didn't, right? They were on vacation, whatever. They see that red candle and they're like, oh my God, they rugged, but they didn't really. So they'll come into your telegram or whatever. They'll say, what happened? And you guys could say, go to Migrate Fund, and you could still claim. And that the people who missed the migration but can go and still claim, the team gets to set a penalty for that. If you were late, what's the penalty going to be? It could be 0. We found that the kind of sweet spot is like 25%. A 25% penalty for not taking part in the migration is reasonable. We've had people do 100%, right? So you can set that to whatever number you guys are comfortable with and your community is comfortable with. The whole point of it is that you want to encourage people to migrate, because every token that migrates, that's more SOL taken out of the old LP. So you want to get people to migrate. So that late claim penalty is motivation for people to migrate. And then that window for claiming, that's 90 days. And so that claim window is open. Everybody who migrates comes back to Migrate Fund in about 10 seconds. They get their brand new tokens. They're immediately tradable. And anybody who missed the migration can claim at that penalty and claim their new tokens. And that's open for 90 days. And at the end of that 90 days, any remaining tokens in the Migrate Fund protocol are returned to the team. And that's the whole process. So it's a lengthy process overall, because you do have that 90-day claim window. But other than that, that's basically the timeline. So you have a few weeks here where you're kind of announcing, talking about it. You have the start of the migration and the migration window, which will be probably a week to 2 weeks for you guys. And then you'll have a 90-day claim window. And that's the full timeline.
Yeah, with migrations, we've learned, and we've talked with now about probably over 200 teams at this point, literally on calls, inside of telegrams. We have to create separate folders for all of the teams. The migration process is likely one of the most important decisions a builder can undergo in the industry. We like to see it very similar we like to compare Migrate Fund very much to like a business relocation service, or even on a much smaller level, just a real estate transaction, right? Because what you're doing is essentially you're taking your business, right, Rainmaker, from one ecosystem to another. And within that decision, there are tons of edge cases, tons of reasons, tons of nuance. Teams have prior partners who maybe they have bad blood with, or they're trying to recoup some of the tokens, or there's tokens locked in Streamflow. There's exchanges involved, right? There's different nuances to each launchpad that you have to undergo. There's prices, right? So there's a lot of different variables that are introduced to it. And it seems like even still to this day, with every so often, there's new variables that are introduced into the migration process. So we've built Migrate Fun in a way that is highly customizable relative to the decision of where people are migrating to. I did see like Link App that was on the stage. They're one of the teams who's migrating to a Radium pool because they want kind of full control. They want to be a little bit more kind of on their own, take the training wheels off. They're not interested in social support. Whereas teams are moving over to launchpads, specifically with Pump here. A lot of the teams that we talk with, they want access to the new Pump creator reward system, right? Which is scalable up to $30 million market cap. The teams want access to the creator rewards features. They want to be part of the ICM spotlight that Pump is about to introduce, right? So there's all these new things that these platforms continue to push. And we definitely see the interest sway back and forth almost by month as these different ecosystems introduce new features. Teams will reach out and say, hey, you know, I want this feature for this XYZ reason. Can you help us migrate over there? So we do take a very hands-on approach from the Migrate Fun side of things. We get on multiple calls with the teams, generally 3 to 4 calls. There's the discovery call, there's an onboarding call, and then there's a offboarding or a post-migration process. We've built the platform in a way that is highly permissionless and I guess you'd say decentralized. The majority of it is on chain. And so you have to kind of walk the teams through it. We don't custody any of the assets. All of the vaults that are used in the process. There's generally 5 different vaults that are set up that hold different tokens, old tokens, new tokens, Solana, etc. And there's just a lot of cool features. I'm going to let Ghost up here on stage. And the one thing that we really do emphasize, and for some teams, right, it's like you just want to get this over with as soon as possible, but we really do highly recommend giving the teams give the community to at least 2 weeks. Generally, 4 weeks has been the pretty big sweet spot where the majority of teams who promoted and marketed the migration for 4 weeks or so ended up all getting over 60% of the migration turnout, and a lot of them doing it in just 7 days because the team was essentially ready. The thing that you don't realize is, you know, token holders themselves, you feel like everyone's paying attention, but no one's really paying attention. Everyone is paying attention to the price, but not as many people are paying attention to the news and events. So this is when Adam was kind of emphasizing that once you do that kind of final sell and that you see that red candle on the old chart, you will see a flood of new people coming into the community saying essentially what happened. And you just say, oh, there's a migration that's ongoing, and you just send them to the website. And it's a simple 10-second process on each side for the users. For the teams, it's a little bit longer process, a few minutes on the back end for the migration and post-migration process. But I will hand it over to Ghost, who I see raising your hand. Good to have you on stage.
Okay. Good evening.
What's up, man? You sound like you're in the jungle.
Good evening. The network is bad over here, that's why. So, my question is the migration happening to Migrate Fund. Can you walk us through on how that process works and what holders should expect during the transition?
Sure. So essentially, from my understanding, you're just asking to walk you through the migration process from the user side of things. So I'll pull up some examples here on our live stream so that people who are watching can see, but there's also tons of them in the on the Migrate Fund page, as well as we can send links.
Some up top so everybody can.
Yeah, I'll have Adam pin some. So is there anything else? No? Okay.
No, I think that's all.
Cool.
But I think I also made something for the Ember Vault team. I pinned it on my profile, so I would like you guys to check it out.
Okay.
ProFlare also works.
No problem. So I have here pulled up to the live stream. Basically, once the migration is set up, you go to migrate.fun and you'll click on the active migrations. If you go to migrate.fun right now, you can actually see there's 5 migrations ongoing. You'll go over to the Rainmaker migration portal. You'll click migrate. And once the claim portal is open, you effectively just hit max and it shows you all of the tokens to migrate. And then you click migrate tokens and effectively you're done until the migration is ended. When you migrate your Rainmaker, if you're migrating on time, you'll be given something that's called an MFT. Essentially, what an MFT is a placeholder or a receipt to come and redeem the new tokens once the migration is ended. So, for example, if Rainmaker chooses a 2-week migration, you'll go in, you'll migrate, you'll click migrate tokens. You'll be given migration MFTs. It's a placeholder. They're just tokens. Once the migration ends, then you will come back to the claims window and effectively you'll turn in the MFTs. You effectively burn the MFTs and you'll get the new Rainmaker token. For the claims process itself, it's also quite simple and it's actually the same exact process. You'll come back to migrate.fun and instead of going to the active window, you'll go to the claims window. And inside of the claims window, you'll just take your MFTs and you'll just click migrate and you will be done. And you will have the you'll have your new Rainmaker tokens. A little bit of explanation. People get kind of caught up on what MFTs are or what's the purpose. So I'll kind of try to dive into the explanation here. So the reason why there's MFTs is we could have done 2 different options. We could have basically stored all of the data inside of a server, or we could just issue you essentially SPL tokens to hold on to. From our kind of methodology, we try to do as many things on chain as possible because we try to be as transparent as possible. We're a very, very open team. We've been this way for almost 10 years. Emblem Vault, our parent company, was founded in 2016. So we've been building in this space for 9 years. Officially, some of our team members, including our founder, has been in the space since 2012. So we've been here pretty much since the beginning of crypto being created. With MFTs themselves, the MFTs are effectively valueless. I mean, you could, in theory, create derivative products on top of it, but have not seen anyone to do it. You just hold the MFTs in your wallet. You could send the MFTs anywhere. Effectively, you just come in and burn those tokens for the real ones. And the reason why you get an MFT and not the real token is that the LP for the new token, so for the Rainmaker that is on PumpSwap, once the migration is done, the LP is deployed, or the tokens are released after the LP is deployed. The reason why is a security reason. You don't want people having the token without holding the real tokens without the LP being deployed because they're going to go set up rogue LPs. And effectively, they're the ones that are going to be determining the price of your token, which you do not want to happen. So it's a security reason that we have that in place. And for the user, it's a simple 1-click process to migrate, 1-click process to claim the token.
And I posted videos up top for everybody to check them out. It literally is 10 seconds to do it. You can just see how it works. It's pretty easy. Not pretty easy. It's super easy.
Yeah. We've had some people ask about their MFTs not showing up in your Phantom wallet. So some wallets, depending on if you're using Soulflare, Phantom, Coinbase wallet, etc., they auto hide the MFTs because they are valueless. But sometimes they will show depending on your prior history within the wallet. So sometimes you just have to go unhide them. But regardless if they're hidden or not, as long as it shows on SoulScan that the MFTs are in your wallet, then you are good. And I'm going to pull up here on the live stream how to claim the tokens just for the people who are watching. But Adam has pinned it up to the top. So to kind of show here, you go to the website, you click on claims. As you can see in this video, there's a bunch of migrations that have ended. You click on the button that says claim. And once it loads, it will show you how many MFTs you have in your wallet for that specific migration. Same process, click max, and then you click claim afterwards. And because we're on Solana, the process takes just a few seconds, and then you're done. And once the migration is over, you claim your tokens. There's a call to action at the end to kind of show more awareness that the migration is happening. So we have that there because the whole goal is adding as much awareness around the migration as possible, right? We want more people to participate. The teams want more people to participate. It's a win-win-win for everyone. So you could go ahead and make that post on social media afterwards with a nice little image, and then you are good to go. Ghost, did I answer that? If you're on stage, I don't think he's on stage anymore. No problem.
Can you guarantee number go up? We'll go up.
That's what everyone wants at the end of the day.
Literally the only thing anyone wants, man. I always thought the best thing we could build would be a you can't sell technology. The unable to sell technology is the best technology.
Yeah. A few other kind of random notes. Some things you see at the end of migrations is something that's called the migration squeeze. This is just in relation to number go up. For those migrations that generally get over 50% or 60%, you start seeing a low float of the tokens that are outstanding, right? If 60% of the tokens are migrated and you have and that happens within the first day and you do a 2-week migration, then effectively only 40% of the supply is circulating for 13 days. And what Adam had mentioned earlier is that the majority of migration participation happens in the first 24 hours and at the last 24 hours. And so on this last day, when everyone's kind of rushing in to migrate at the end, you effectively only have buy pressure. It's not always the case, but it happens pretty often. And you'll see this big upwards momentum swing of this gigantic candle because people are trying to migrate late. It happened to our own token. You can look at the Tensorium token. The most pronounced example of this was the one of the last migrations we did with Monopoly Money, which I think ran from 13 million to 40 million on the last day. But we have migrated projects from all sizes, as low as 50,000 in market cap, upwards of, I think Magic Money or Monopoly Money was the largest at 40 million at the end of its migration. And we have a pretty big community. Our company, Emblem Vault, is composed of 3 different products. You see Emblem Vault that's hosting it, hosting the show. Migrate Fun is on stage. We also have an AI project called Agent Hustle, which was the project that went through Migrate Fun, the first one. So we have a lot of people who speculate on migrations. They see them bullish because it's generally a team who refuses to give up, or they need a change of scenery because of XYZ business or personal kind of reasons. And a lot of people are aware that, these teams are now going to be in a much better position on the other side. And because of that, there's a lot of community members who speculate on tokens about migrations. And we've seen some pretty big kind of results. I think post-migration, the largest gainer is Radar, who was formerly Tilt. When they started their migration, they were a $50,000 market cap. And I think now, after a month after their migration, they're at like 1.5 million. So pretty big returns for some of those people who like to speculate, but also just really cool teams. Generally have a lot of majority of projects who migrate are utility projects of AI, prediction markets, privacy, so on and so forth. Chris, I see you smiling over there. So what's on your mind?
Yeah, well, I see a lot of Link community members in the chat. Go migrate your tokens, first of all. Okay. Get out of the space, go migrate your tokens. No, good to see everyone here. Excited about the Rain product in general. And, I think that the reason why something like Migrate Fun kind of became so popular is that there's always been so many reasons to migrate. But the whole process of migrations was like really stressful and complex. So basically the platform splits the complexity with you. We take all the technical barriers out of it, and you guys just focus on the social side. And so it really just gives your guys' team another chance to really connect with each and every one of your holders. This is like one of the only kind of activities that really forces every holder to do something with their within the community, right? When's the last time that every single holder had to touch their tokens? And so it gives an additional touch point to every single community member. And in doing that, you just form a closer bond with everyone without having to worry about like the technical barriers and the complexities on the other side. So just being able to split that kind of complex activity with the teams and allow them to focus on just community building and getting to where they're really wanting to go, I think is like a really exciting opportunity within the market. So, you know, we are pretty much the first commercialized migration platform, and these migrations have been going on for years, but they were really far and few between. But they're really starting to pick up because there's so many reasons to migrate. And so you guys are just kind of really early pioneers in something special. So looking forward, I think just getting, you know, all of the socials intact, really focusing on communicating and overly communicating with the team and your communities and being as transparent as possible is really the way forward. And I think in doing that just builds a ton of trust going forward. So I think in general, just migrations are a really exciting thing. And not only for the benefits that you receive on the other side, whether it be increased creator fees, you know, rebranding as some tokens do, and all the other benefits. But I think just the coolest part is becoming closer with your community and just allowing them to put trust in you to drive the vision forward.
Absolutely. J-Rock, do you, after those few long-wind rebuttals from our team, do you have any further questions regarding migration, or maybe some questions that are being posed in the Telegram or replies?
Yeah, I'm monitoring it, but you know, it was great that one of our community members actually went through your process with another token and, you know, and said it was all smooth. And so that was really reassuring to hear that someone had already gone through it and could give their personal take. So I'm monitoring the chat. I don't see any real additional questions. One came up about, can people do like a test migration? And I just said, yeah, people can split their tokens up in different increments and migrate slowly if they want.
Yep.
No, they can do test migrations right now. Go into any of our currently migrating tokens and go do the process. Like, I encourage you, buy a couple dollars of you know, one of the existing tokens, and go in and use the platform. You know, go buy some whatever Naked Gym or whatever right now for $5 and go use the platform. I think you'll find it's super smooth and easy. Somebody was asking, actually just pinging me in my DMs about, well, how do I know you're saying migrations are bullish? How do I know? And I said, well, go to migrate.fun, click on claims, and then just go down the list. Click the claim for any one of the tokens. You don't have to own the tokens. And at the top of the screen, you can click the progress like toggle and click the details, and you'll see the old token CAs and the new token CAs, and just throw them into Deck Screener, and you can see how you get this kind of run up towards the end of the old token, and you can just see you'll see how the tokens perform, you know, during a migration and then after the migration. You can actually just see it for yourself. And you know, I mean, token price isn't the only thing that's important, right? Creative rewards on the other side for Pump are important. You know, supporting the team in that way is important. You know, the team maybe getting back a little bit of the token supply is also important. You know, there are a lot of other factors, and the attention around it is important than just number go up, right? So, I mean, we talk about it, but you know, but go look for yourself and see the number go up. But then, you know, there are other things that are important other than just the chart. But yeah, go check it out yourself. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, rallies the troops at the end of the day, right? It takes 10 seconds to go and migrate, and also to claim. It's not something a bot can do or an agent can do yet. I'm sure here in the near future you can have your agents migrate on your behalf, but as of now, takes a human touch, and you get your diehards, rallying around you. And we see this very common. It's just really, you essentially get rid of all the bots who are holding the tokens, and you get the human touch. And we've seen the hustle community, which was our token that we migrated, more active than ever, especially within the few months after the migration, because they feel like they did something. And now you're here on the other side, rallying the troops and continue on with the progress. I'll touch a little bit more on kind of what's going to happen here at the end of the month. So basically what's going on is we're in coordination with Pump, onboarding teams, or going through discovery calls. We've been in touch with them for the last few weeks or so, especially with their ICM kind of push. So we're talking with a lot of ICM type teams who are interested in migrating from all different ecosystems. To us, the migration platform, we try to stay as neutral as a third party. We just want to help teams move from one place to another. It doesn't really matter where it is. We try not to be biased, obviously a little bit hard at times, but the one thing we do acknowledge is the power that PumpFun possesses, and also the team that we've talked with from the PumpFun is very excited, very active with the migrations, as well as some of our past partners as well. Very active. Teams love migrations, right? You're bringing new business to these ecosystems, and they want to support it in whichever way is kind of relative to their procedures and principles. But for us, what success we have found is doing something called migration groups, because we try to make it a mass attention event. So what we did at the end of September is we helped migrate 14 teams to PumpFun and Radium. Those were our partners, first partners for migrations. And at the time, tons of interest migrating over there. And so the teams, not only were the teams who were migrating felt like they were part of a community, and it was actually cool because we saw a lot of those teams actually interacting and then later even partnering together. But the Migrate Fund community and the speculators found that, hey, there's this group of 15 teams who are migrating together. And so you're not just getting the community and token holders of the projects that are migrating, you're introducing a whole new group of speculators who are looking at these migrations and saying, oh, hey, I've never heard of Rainmaker, or I've never heard of XYZ. Let me look into it, right? Like Bratoshi on the live stream says, I didn't know about Rainmaker until the migration post. These guys look dope, right? So we're trying to introduce new people to the community. And we found that with migration groups, that is absolutely the case. So we've done a migration group of 14, currently doing a migration group of 5. With PumpFun, it looks like it's going to be around 15, possibly more. So right now what we're doing is we're just going through the discovery calls with all of these teams. I'm not joking. Between Adam, Chris, and I, we've probably done at least 5 calls a day for the last 5 or 6 business days. There's still a lot more to come, but we are working through that process. And once we could kind of organize and coalesce everyone together, we'll announce the official date for the migration itself. Also, too, we really just try to emphasize with teams to really give your community a heads up about the migration. One thing we've learned is communities do not like surprise migrations at all. And there's actually history that shows that if you're going to put a surprise migration on teams, then most of the teams do sell. I'm not going to name names or anything, but I think most people can kind of deduce what that is or who that is. And so we really just want everyone to feel comfortable in it. So we try to emphasize at least 2 to 4 weeks of heads up notice for the community so that they feel comfortable and all questions can be answered. And so at the end of the month, basically what we're going to do is we're going to launch all of the migrations together on Migrate.fun. All of the migrations will start at the same time, but they will vary on their ending dates. As you can see on Migrate Fun right now, there's 5 teams migrating, and there's 4 different end dates of 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks. You can choose, teams can choose much longer if they want. They can choose shorter. The average is about 2 weeks, but the teams are really free to do as they wish. And it generally comes down to the relationship between the token holders and their communities. One other kind of side thing that we're working on specifically with this PumpFun group is there's a handful of tokens that have a lot of exchange listings, like Binance listings and HTX listings and Mexi listings and such. So we've had to build relationships with each of these exchanges to help walk them through what a migration is, trying to prevent relisting fees from happening. And some of these exchanges can be quite a tough conversation, but we are building those relationships. And so those generally take a little bit longer to work through. But obviously with with migrations of coins that have exchange listings means there's going to be a lot more attention around the event, right? So we're working through it, and we will have dates and stuff posted here in the next few weeks. And we are keeping all of our teams the most informed and working through the guidelines that we've set for ourselves. Couldn't be more excited, man. The migration meta, I guess you could say, is not just a meta. I think it's a trend, as we have seen since we've launched. Other teams launch their own migrations or try to launch their own migration platforms. I think overall it's bullish for the industry. More products means or more teams means better products, means more efficiency, means teams have users have options, which is something that we support as well. And so we'll continue to grow and continue to help all of these teams. And nothing is better than seeing a team migrate and then seeing a lot of success on the other side. It is a really, really good feeling. Rainy Dev, do you have any further questions? Also, welcome back on stage.
Awesome breakdown. I really appreciate it. I know our community appreciates it. Thank you for, going through all that information. I think we probably need to process it as a community, and we'll have more questions as we go. And yeah,
yep,
done right now.
No problem. Yeah, that's generally what we recommend as well. Processing. Communities we're all humans at the end of the day, and we all digest information in a variety of ways.
Well, while we've got Rainy here, give us the sauce. You're tuning these models. What are you tuning them for? What are these NFL games looking like in live play? Are you looking for like momentum, or is it mostly like underdogs with like good, in play chance of winning a second half? Or what kind of patterns or strategies are you guys kind of seeing success on? If you don't mind sharing, give us all the secret sauce though.
Unfortunately, can't share any sauce. I appreciate you asking. Proprietary models. All I can say is that we're training on each team, and that has helped us.
Cool.
Adam, got anything, or we can wrap it up here? I'm looking through the replies. I don't see of the post. I don't see nothing here on the live stream, but as always, we're available pretty much 24/7.
I do have one last question. If we can get together and what I'd like to do is be able to post some comprehensive instructions for our community in our Discord, and then also have a thread on X. So maybe if you guys have some best practices around, how to draft that, or, how to make sure that those instructions are clear, just let us know, and that would be great.
Yeah, let me write this down. Thread about migration.
Sure, that's really no problem. We usually do a how-to for each team that's migrating, that they can share with their community when the migrations begin. So, and we'll do that, of course, for you guys as well. Again, it's super easy. If you click the videos up top, you can see it's super easy. But we do a customized one for you guys at the opening of the migration, and then when the claims are live as well. So everybody can see, how to, just walking people through it. And I know some people are in Photon or whatever, Phantom, and then others are on Soulflare. So, there are always edge cases. We've had people try to, using Coinbase wallets, all sorts of crazy stuff. So there are always edge cases. But for the team itself, you don't have to deal with the edge cases. If people are like, I'm stuck, I can't get it to work, we just have you send them to the Migrate Fun account, DM the Migrate Fun account, and our staff helps walk people through, technical challenges, which usually there aren't many. It's usually the person doesn't have Sol in their wallet, or they're not in the right wallet. It's usually stuff like that. But if they arise, our team handles the technical challenges.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah,
Thank you
really.
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wrap it up here. I do see one question. Somebody says, will Lon join to support the migration to PumpFun season? Very common question. I'll let the PumpFun team answer those marketing efforts. I just know they are ramping up different types of marketing styles. I won't say if I can't commit if they're going to talk about each team during the migration. They will probably emphasize and note about the migration itself. I do know that they have plans once the migration is over and they see the teams on the other side, that they have plans for each team. And we each chat that we do have a PumpFun representative in each chat of the teams who are migrating so that they can get some special attention and answer all questions. So yeah, a little tough to highlight everyone specifically during the migration. I know each team kind of has their own policies and procedures that they go through, which we want to respect as a neutral third party. But afterwards, I've been told that they do have plans for all the teams that do make it through the migration. So should be really exciting, obviously, with their kind of attention there. But without that, then we'll wrap it up today. Rainy, Dev, J-Rock, the Rainmaker team, the community, everyone showed up. Really appreciate everyone. The Migrate Fund community continues to grow with every migration. We spread the awareness, and teams get to finally have build your choice, not locked into something forever. As long as the builders and the community have a good relationship, you can always feel free to move multiple times if that is something that happens in the near future. We'll be around building out the future of migrations. But again, thank you to the Rainmaker team. Awesome product. I'm gonna have to tune into that Le'Veon Bell Spaces instead of the Manning cast on Monday so that I can watch something a little bit better there.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much.
Peace, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate everyone. Make sure that you follow the Rainmaker account as well as the Migrate Fun account so that you can stay up to date with everything migrations. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, everyone have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.